Right now, in the heart of Africa, a brutal war is tearing a nation apart. In Sudan, thousands of innocent men, women, and children are trapped in a nightmare. Cities destroyed, families displaced, and silence from much of the world. What began as a power struggle between two generals has turned into one of the worst humanitarian crises of our time. Sudan, a country once full of hope after decades of dictatorship, is now a battlefield between two powerful forces, the Sudanese Armed Forces SAF and the Rapid Support Forces RSF, a paramilitary group born out of old tribal militias. Over 150,000 people have been killed, 12 million forced to flee, and the United Nations calls it the world's largest humanitarian crisis today. The story begins long before this latest massacre. For decades, Sudan was ruled by Omar al-Bashir, a dictator who relied on brutal militias known as the Janjaweed to suppress uprisings in regions like Darfur. These militias carried out atrocities, burning villages, murdering civilians, and wiping out entire non-Arab communities. When the world turns its back, Bashir rewarded Janjaweed by formalizing them into the Rapid Support Forces in 2030, an officially recognized paramilitary unit led by Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, better known as Hemeti. But power never stays quiet for long. In 2019, after mass protests, Bashir was overthrown by his own army, the SAF, led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. For a moment, people hoped for democracy. Instead, Sudan was split between two men, Burhan and Hemeti, each controlling his own army, his own money, and his own vision of power. By 2023, the uneasy alliance collapsed. The question of how and when to merge the RSF into a regular army exploded into open war. Today, the battlefield has spread across Sudan, but the world's eyes have turned to Al Fasher, a city in North Darfur once considered a humanitarian hub, sheltering over 260,000 civilians. In late October, the RSF captured Al Fasher after months of siege. What happened next is nothing short of a massacre. According to eyewitnesses and reports verified by the World Health Organization and Yale Humanitarian Research Lab, RSF fighters went door to door, killing every man, woman, and child they found. At least 460 people were murdered inside a single hospital, patients, doctors, even children. Satellite images now show reddish soil stains, traces of blood visible from space, piles of human-sized objects, burned out vehicles, entire neighborhoods silenced. Experts describe El Fasher as a kill box. The city is surrounded by a dirt wall nearly 9 feet high. No one can escape. Those who try to flee are shot. Humanitarian aid is blocked. Food and medicine cannot reach the people trapped inside. The United Nations Human Rights Office warns that what happens may be ethnic cleansing, possibly even genocide. They have placed for international action, but so far the world remains largely silent. To understand why this war is so deadly, we have to look at what's driving it: power and profit. Both generals are fighting not just for control of Sudan, but for control of its gold mines, its oil routes, and its international alliances. The RSF has strong backing from the United Arab Emirates, accused of buying Sudanese gold and indirectly funding RSF operations. The SAF, on the other hand, is supported by Egypt, Turkey, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. This isn't just a Sudanese war anymore. It's a proxy conflict where foreign powers fuel the flames. And while these men trade bullets and money, it's the civilians who pay the price. Millions live without food, water, or shelter. Refugee camps in Chad, South Sudan, and Egypt are overflowing. Countless women and young girls have been captured and assaulted. Whole families vanished without a trace. The UN calls it a humanitarian catastrophe, but even that feels like an understatement. Media coverage is scarce, not because it's unimportant, but because Sudan has become a black hole for information. Journalists are banned, internet lies are cut, the RSF themselves often record and post their atrocities online, not to hide them, but to boast about them. Meanwhile, those who survive tell their stories in refugee camps, stories of hunger, gunfire, and endless fear. Sudan's war is more than a fight for power. It's a fight for humanity itself. Every day that the world looks away, more lives are lost. Yeah, and that's it, ladies and boys and girls, and I will see you on my next video.